Alright everyone, welcome back. It is now August 28th of 2023, and just last week, we got the 2-episode premiere on Disney Plus of AHSOKA Part 1 and Part 2, Episodes 1 and 2, whatever have you, and I have been very honest with you guys through and through, and so far, I have not been impressed with the first 2 episodes, really. I've mentioned how I really was off-put by the acting, the silence in between specific conversations, and how some of the dialogue is drawn out. There's a lot of filler moments in these 2 episodes, and given that there's a lot of copy and paste material from past Star Wars elements thrown into the AHSOKA series was also something that bothered me. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into the subject, shall we? Now, we know that Disney and Lucasfilm have been really suffering with the Star Wars brand as of late. Not just because of what happened with Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, Mando Season 3, but also because of what Kathleen Kennedy has done to the overall brand that is almost, non-repairable at this point. You really can't fix what happened with the sequel trilogy and how much of an impact that had on the fan base. So far, as long as Kathleen Kennedy remains, everything that they develop leads up to the sequel trilogy. Now, what's intriguing is exactly what Disney recently did behind closed doors for everything Marvel, Star Wars, and just Disney movies in general. There's a lot of cutbacks happening, a lot of cancellations, and one of which has to do with the AHSOKA series specifically and exactly how they're trying to find a remedy to make up for the cancellation of the show. Let's get into all of this. Now, with Star Wars AHSOKA getting mixed reviews after its 2-episode premiere on Disney Plus, one major development has to do with a decision that Bob Iger and the board, along with Kathleen Kennedy, moved forward with. Now, initially they had a concrete plan to develop a second season for Star Wars AHSOKA, that was of course planned to release sometime by the end of 2025 during the holiday season to continue the story from Dave Filoni. Now, just recently, due to the Disney cost containment plan and also by mixed reviews, Disney made this decision to cancel a second season of AHSOKA, and instead of a direct continuation, they are now focusing on a prequel story to the AHSOKA series instead, that will focus on Grand Admiral Thrawn and Ezra's time in the distant and or nearby galaxy after getting trapped there. Filoni's plan is to take fans to a brand new galaxy entirely for this new Thrawn and Ezra focused show that will completely break the rules for Star Wars. As for AHSOKA Season 2, continuing, this is now no longer a go and has come to a complete halt and was cancelled. Disney's new strategy was by sticking with the plan to make AHSOKA only a 1-season show and to focus on Dave Filoni's movie continuing the story instead. Filoni is set to focus on a new show focusing on Ezra and Thrawn that will have nothing to do with the Force anymore, and instead a brand new power that is utilized in the nearby galaxy. New species, new planets, and new everything is the plan to give Star Wars a complete refresh and reset with the Ezra and Thrawn series. Now guys, let me stop here for one moment. I mentioned this in my last post about AHSOKA of how I feel the introduction of multiple galaxies or another galaxy is absolutely ludicrous in Star Wars. That's not to say that we have not seen this in Star Wars Legends, let me be clear. In Legends, we had an enemy called the Yuzong Vong that travel from one galaxy to another. That's different, but what Dave Filoni wants to do and what he is setting up to do for the future of the brand is to essentially abandon the galaxy that we all know and love, that we all grew up with, the home of the original trilogy, the home of the Skywalkers, and going to a different galaxy to focus on to create endless possibilities that have nothing to do with the Force. Now, this could very well have to do with the connection from what we heard about how Ezra Bridger will only be using martial arts in the AHSOKA series and will not really be using a lightsaber or anything like that. But we also know that this series is no longer getting a Season 2 by Bob Iger and the Disney Board of Directors. They don't want to move forward with that, and again, it's not just because of the mixed reviews. A lot of it has to do with the cost containment plan. A lot of cutbacks for Star Wars, Marvel, and just everything is happening pretty much simultaneously. And for those of you that enjoy the AHSOKA series, you know, basically their remedy to making up for that loss is basically focusing on Dave Filoni's movie to continue that story, and the AHSOKA prequel story, that's not going to be about AHSOKA, by the way, but it's connected. It's going to focus on what was going on with Thrawn and Ezra in the galaxy, far, far away from the other one, for multiple years, and exactly what was going on over there. So we're going to be learning more about that in that story that takes place before AHSOKA. Now look, I've said multiple things about this show, and a lot of you did agree in my last post, and we'll talk about that in just a second. However, moving onwards, alright, AHSOKA Season 2 was originally planned to also involve Jon Favreau as a co-writer to work with Dave Filoni specifically. This all fell apart as well, and Favreau is now out with yet another Star Wars show. Between the cost containment plan and the mixed reviews, this is what ultimately led to Disney canceling a second season of AHSOKA from its current Star Wars slate that was about to be announced at D23, much like how they scrapped plans for Obi-Wan Season 2 that quickly fell apart after the fan backlash, which was a plan in the process. For obvious reasons, that was to let go. Now, we know that Obi-Wan got a bigger backlash earlier on than AHSOKA. AHSOKA really is now in a current state where there's a lot of people that either do not like it for two reasons. They don't like it because of how the story was crafted, or they are non-Rebels fans that are lost with the story. Those are the types of people that do not like the show. The types that do love the show are big-time Rebels fans. They love the characters of Thrawn, Ezra, AHSOKA, Sabine, Era Syndulla, etc., and they cherish Dave Filoni's work. Now, look, I have been very much direct with you guys. The first two episodes really didn't do anything for me, quite frankly. I didn't feel a surge of excitement. Sure, it has good lightsaber duels, but when you take away all of that and focus on everything else in isolation, it's really a bunch of just flat-out boring conversations. And there could very well have been, you know, scenes that could have been easily cut out or at least cut down drastically. One great example. Did we really need that whole scene of Sabine Wren on the speeder bike on that runway for that extended amount of time? I don't think so. I think that they could have easily made that into a 30-second, maybe a 40-second scene tops. It was very dragged out. But I would like to hear your take on things. There's a lot of things in here, like the map to Thrawn, the map to Skywalker. It's all plug and play, copy and paste stuff that just makes this show so predictable. Shin Hati, or Shin Hati, however she's pronounced, is already alluding to the fact that she's going to portray Balin in the second episode. It's become very clear. So just everything is too predictable with this show. And is also matching up with the leaks, by the way. So anyway, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. And I will catch you guys next time.
From night to moon.